WM Watches, also known as Welly Merck, reached out to me about reviewing one of their pieces, I found the timing pretty ironic. Why? Because I had the Christopher Ward C60 Lympstone coming to my doorstep, so naturally I said, yeah, sure, but only if they sent me the WM157 Military Watch, which is clearly a homage, or some of you would call clomage, to the C60 Lympstone itself. So in today's video, we're going to put them side by side and compare. How does a Chinese-made clomage stack up to the real deal? Well, let's find out. First though, a quick disclaimer. I don't usually do homage reviews, especially not clomages, but since I had the real Lympstone coming in, I felt like this was a unique opportunity to compare them both. Personally, I always prefer to save for the original, but I get why some people are drawn to homages, to test the feel before, spending a lot of money on the real thing, or just to get the look at a budget price. That being said, I hope someone from Christopher Ward is watching this review, because there's one thing WM Watch got right. Something I'd love to see in a future version of the C60 Lympstone. I'm going to save that for the end, so stick around. Also, WM Watch sent me this watch in for review. I don't have to return it, so I'll be providing a link to the watch in the description of this video and a link to the Christopher Ward. They didn't pay me either. They had zero input on this review, and so with all that out of the way, let's get started. So I'm going to start with the Christopher Ward C60 Lympstone. If you know my channel, you know I love military, reissued, and tool watches. The Lympstone ticks all those boxes. It's a tough, no-nonsense diver with real military cred, officially licensed by the UK Ministry of Defence and bearing the Royal Marines insignia on the caseback. It's an original design packed with high-end features for a tool watch. A, it's got a carbon fiber dial. B, marine grade steel with this gunmetal PVD finish. C, it's got dual screw down crowns. D, it's got an internal compass bezel. E, it's got a chronometer grade Sellita movement. And last but not least, it's got 600 meters of water resistance. Yeah, it is the full package. I love it so much I'm even ordering the $270 Bader bracelet to complete it. The included nylon strap, it's rugged, but it's too stiff for my liking and I don't even use it. By the way, version 2 of this watch is already on Christopher Ward's website for pre-order. If I didn't own this one already, I'd be in line for that one, that's for sure. But let's take a look at the WM157. At first glance, it might seem like a one-to-one copy, but it's not. While it's inspired by the Lympstone, there are enough differences to warrant a deeper look. The first thing I did is I removed the bracelet. The black coating feels more like painted on DLC, and it doesn't inspire confidence. It's the kind of finish that'll scuff easily, in my opinion. I've seen similar coatings on lower end Invictas and Long Island watches, and you can see spots on the underside of the bracelet links where the coating wasn't even applied. Unlike the gunmetal gray of the C60, this is just matte black. It doesn't feel premium, but again, the WM costs a fraction to the Christopher Ward. Inside the WM is a reliable Miyota 8215 movement. It's a common choice for Chinese watches. One bonus, it makes the WM case noticeably thinner than Christopher Ward's. So even though both watches are technically 43 millimeters across, the WM wears more comfortably on the wrist, closer to a 41 millimeter feel. Now both of the watches have a 43 millimeter case, 22 millimeter lug width, and 49 millimeters lug to lug. The Christopher Ward has 600 meters of water resistance. It does have a thicker case. The Welly Merck, it has only 100 meters of water resistance, and it's thinner and a little bit lighter. Now, Christopher Ward's famous light catcher case still shows through this stealthy version. Beautiful bevels, crisp edges, even with the gunmetal PVD. But WM's case finishing is more basic, but it's not bad, I guess, for the price. Now, let's take a look at the dial. The Lympstone uses real carbon fiber on its dial. Each one is slightly different, which adds uniqueness. Christopher Ward claims that over 500,000 carbon fibers are in every square inch. Well, on the WM, on the other hand, well, they say it's inspired by Van Gogh's Starry Night. I really don't see it. It looks like a printed dial, not textured. Still, the rest of the dial layout is similar. It has applied markers. It has the internal compass ring, color-matched text styling, but the white date wheel on the WM, it does stand out, not in a good way either. A black date wheel with white numerals would have elevated the whole look. I think most buyers would have gladly paid extra for that small little detail. Now flip them over, and there's another big difference. On the Christopher Ward, you got a closed case back with the etched Royal Marines insignia, and both crowns screw down. This is tool watch perfection. On the WM, it is a see-through case back with very basic branding. Neither of the crowns screw down, and that's a big problem. No screw down crowns means less water resistance. WM says 100 meters of water resistance, but I wouldn't trust this for swimming or showers. 2 non-screw down crowns are 2 potential entry points for water, and I won't compromise that on a daily tool watch. Period. End of story. Christopher Ward's crowns are larger, about 7 millimeters versus the WM at 6.4 millimeters. They are easier to grip, better finished, and the internal bezel crown on the Christopher Ward is smooth and very easy to use. It's so satisfying. Now here's a surprise. The WM bezel action is excellent. Seriously, better than expected. There's no backplay, buttery smooth, and comparable to the Christopher Ward's, it's pretty good. That said, the Christopher Ward bezel is still one of the best I've ever felt on a 120 click bezel. The loom, WM knocks it out of the park. It's strong, generously applied, and it glows all night, including the bezel. They don't list what compound they used, but it is very effective. Christopher Ward uses an X1 grade superluminova, and it's applied even to the internal compass markers, but the brightness fades quicker than I'd like. If there's one area Christopher Ward could improve for version 2, this is it. Both watches wear smaller than their dimensions suggest, due to the crown, bulk, and the black cases. They visually shrink on the wrist. The WM wears slightly better due to its slimmer case, but the Christopher Ward feels like a premium tool watch. That weight and heft give it absolutely a lot of presence. So here's the one thing WM did that I wish Christopher Ward would. When I first looked up the WM157, I noticed they offered a stainless steel version. I actually requested that one, but they sent me the black version instead. And here's the deal. Black coated watches rarely stay in my collection long. I've owned many, and none have stuck around. Will the Christopher Ward Lympstone be the first exception? Maybe. Thanks to its unique gunmetal finish, I love it. But I would also love to see Christopher Ward offer a stainless steel variant. If they did, I think it would sell like crazy. What do you guys think? Would you buy a Christopher Ward Lympstone in stainless steel instead of gunmetal gray? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. So let's talk about price. The Christopher Ward C60 Lympstone is $1,295 US as of May of 2025, but it includes the bracelet, and you probably have to add 10% at checkout due to the current trade war or due to the tariffs. Now, the WM157 is $289 on their site, but if you go to AliExpress, you can find it as low as $120. Now, I'm not sure what the tariff impact will be, but it's going to vary depending on where you live. So I suggest that somehow you figure that one out. So what are my final thoughts? Well, I love the C60 Lympstone. After several months, it's still in my regular rotation. The honeymoon phase has not ended, and I think this is a permanent member of my collection. As for the WM157, hey, for the price, it's not bad. It's got a great bezel, strong lume, pretty good specs, but the coating and the lack of screw-down crowns are the deal breakers for me. If WM stepped up those two things, this would be a killer budget option. Still, if you want to test the styling before going all in on the Christopher Ward, it's not a bad start. So what do you think of the WM157 after seeing it compared to the real thing? Would you pick one up? And what improvements would you like to see that would convince you to buy one? Let's talk down below in the comments. And guys, if you made it this far, let me introduce myself. My name's Blake. As you can tell, with these two watches, I'm a bit of a watchaholic. But if you made it this far, I'm assuming you're a watchaholic too. So, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I've got a lot of reviews coming up. So I'll see you guys in the next video.